Yeah, actually, Otangelo, what do you think about this Job 14, Job 38:14 here, where it talks about the earth takes the shape of clay under a seal, and then its features stand out like those under a garment, which would mean that there's an edge, just like Nathan said.
Yeah, I think that I can always say we have to take that in a figurative sense.
Oh,
Now,
really?
yeah,
So you don't take that literally?
no, I am saying that it is well possible to take it as in a figurative way. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be literal.
I recently had a conversation with Pitch Lumen, aka Nathan, about a variety of topics. One of which we were talking about is the fact that Nathan is a flat earth creationist. Now, he takes the Bible to be absolute literal truth. He believes that every single word in the Bible is the truth and it is exactly as how the Bible states. One thing I find interesting is that many young earth creationists don't actually support this position. They tend to take things somewhat figuratively when the Bible talks about the literal flat earth. So when Otangelo came on my stream, I thought this would be a really great opportunity to have a true debate, a biblical debate about whether the earth is flat or not. So this is an excerpt from that live stream of Otangelo and Nathan going at it against each other about whether there's a biblical case for a flat earth. One thing that I really like about having Nathan on these streams is the fact that he is so genuine and earnest, and that he really does seem to take it seriously, the idea that the Bible is absolutely literal true, including every little part of the Bible. Otangelo, as you just saw, doesn't. He takes some things figuratively. How Otangelo makes the distinction between what we're supposed to take to be literal and figuratively true in the Bible, he doesn't actually really explain. Something about logic, or I don't know, rationality, none of it's particularly rational in my mind, and he's just picking and choosing what he wants to believe from the Bible that is literal true and what's not. If Otangelo had the courage of his convictions, he would actually believe in a flat earth, but clearly he doesn't. So if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe and enjoy the show. So, you had mentioned a few things in one of my videos about on the video of Ken Hovind that I did recently about flat Earth and the fact that Ken Hovind doesn't believe in flat Earth, and that he's obviously, there are a lot of creationists who don't talk about the Bible very much. They're mostly there to just attack evolution and create doubts in evolution. They don't talk about the creation story. Fuzz Rana is an old Earth creationist, for instance. He believes the Earth is very old, but he thinks that there may have been events when a creator may have intervened at various places. And, he's relatively popular amongst creationist circles in some ways. But, most creationists who really are involved with this, I would say, are more of the young Earth variety. But a lot of them, they don't do anything as far as flat Earth goes. And I was looking into flat Earth, the theology part, and I feel like you're right. Like, it's kind of hard to take the Bible completely literal and ignore the fact that it kind of is a geocentric flat Earth book, right?
100%. And I would, if the Earth was a globe, like I had absolute definitive Earth is a globe, I would immediately disregard the Bible. Like I would go to probably some sort of agnostic, because you can't know for certain there's no God unless you knew everything. But if there is a God, I'd probably be, I think the term is deist, where it's like they don't care about if the Earth is a globe and we were created, they don't care about us because they didn't give us a book or any way to know about them or learn, and we're in this expanse void filled with darkness, dark matter, dark energy, and so we're surrounded by it in this really hostile place actually. And I don't think a loving creator would do that. And I think it is like I'm not trying to call people out, but like Christians should be able to defend, and we need to really have a backbone. I'm not perfect, but like we need to be able to stand up and say the earth is flat. Here's why. If it's not, it's the honest thing to do is to disregard your faith, because the Bible would be incompatible with science and with reality. Whereas like my position currently, to my understanding, is that the Bible and science are compatible. The parts of the Bible that are scientifically testable are still valid to this day, because that's how science works. It's going to be, you know, assuming conditions remain the same yesterday as was today, as is tomorrow. And so that is where I think that you can't have the earth formed and then the sun. The firmament is a whole other topic. Isaiah is like one of the only book to use the word ball, uses the word ball, and I think Isaiah 19 or something like that, 18, 19, 20.
Right.
And then in Isaiah 40 calls the earth a circle with a tent. So there's a difference between a circle and a ball. Isaiah could have called the earth a ball right there, divine revelation, when, you know, Galileo came along, or Copernicus, or whoever you want to say. That could have been a divine revelation. Joshua could have said, earth, stop spinning, stop moving. But the Bible already says the earth doesn't move. He said, sun, stop moving. And so,
yeah. And then to interrupt, like Job also talks about, in Job, there's a passage saying that God fixed the dimensions of the earth, how long and how thick and how broad it should be. He settled the borders and the boundaries of it. And like if it's a sphere, there are no borders and boundaries to a sphere, right?
Exactly.
We've not met. Thanks for joining. I don't know if you guys know each other.
No,
not at all. Otangelo, do you want to introduce yourself here?
Yes, I am actually a Young Earth Creationist. So
I
saw the live stream and I thought, well,
thanks for joining.
On.
So, so to give you a little background, I don't know if you saw the debate that Nathan and I had on Modern Day Debates, probably about a month ago now. It was a team debate. Taylor, who's known as Snake, Snake Was Right is his channel. And then Jamie, who's, what is it, 217 Studio?
215
Studio, right. Studio 215, right. That was your partner. And so it was a pretty spirited debate. But I had a conversation with Nathan following, and we had briefly talked about contradictions in the Bible, and we were talking about resurrection stories. But now we're talking about flat Earth. So Otangelo, what do you think about the flat Earth, the biblical case for flat Earth?
Well, I don't think that the Bible defends a flat Earth.
All right, we got a real debate here now. Yeah. I'm happy to moderate because I've seen so many debates where it's about the scientific case for flat Earth. But can we have a biblical debate about flat Earth? That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think maybe it boils down to the question: what does it mean when the Bible talks about spheres? You know, so is a sphere a flat Earth, or is it just round? You know, so maybe that would be the core of the question: if the Bible defends a flat Earth or a round Earth. But one thing maybe I would have to agree that in Genesis it says that there is a dome, metal dome, so something like that, you know. So obviously that would create some difficulty to explain that away, let's say, because even the Jews in the Old Testament, they believed actually that there was a hard dome or something like that around the Earth. So that would create some kind of difficulty to explain that away, I would say. Yes.
Yeah, and I think too, like there's a book, a Jewish book called the Zohar, and I believe that they also speak about like the Earth being a ball. So I think that this idea, this cosmology, comes from a source external to the Bible, and I think that's kind of my view towards it is like us as Young Earth Creationists, we are like not Chris, but like there are scientists out there and everything who will like ridicule people who are science deniers because they don't believe evolution is valid. So it's like there's already a level of scrutiny applied to a creationist, and so I think like the best bet for creation to resonate with people and to be able to make it to people's like heart and soul and the brain is to just go full bore, all out, and go with scripture as it is. There are some things that are tough to try to rationalize or try to comprehend, but I think that is part of it. As far as like the round, discerning round versus flat, you can have like a plate is round and flat. So I think just trying to clarify terms, you can have a something round in a ball and something round and flat. So I think the distinction is the earth planar or is it spherical, like an oblate spheroid? And so I think that is something that if we, like, as a young earth creationist, I take it you talk to people about evolution and try to point out some of the faults in evolution. But evolution, because if you grant them a globe, you are now allowing the possibility for long time spans. They can talk about clouds of elements forming together, coalescing into stars, and then planets around those. So you're lending credence to the cosmology that evolution requires to exist. On a flat Earth, evolution, there's no way evolution can happen. You can't have naturalism if there's an enclosed system. So it gets rid of a naturalistic worldview. There are flat earthers who are not Christians. They are like a new age, believe in a creator. But that's kind of about it as far as just a creator. So I think that's something that it's like the Bible says several times over that the earth doesn't move, that it's fixed, and that the earth hangs on nothing is one that people that think that the Bible is a book supporting a globe say. But if the earth is set on pillars, it's not hanging on anything, it's resting on something. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like takes clay, shape like a clay seal.
Under a seal, meaning like you have a clump of clay and you press on it. What is that? That's flat, right?
Yeah, with upturned edges.
So let me ask you, Dr. Chris, what is your position?
I believe in a globe Earth. Yeah,
I know, but I think we all believe in a
No. Nathan does not. Nathan's a flat Earth creationist.
Okay, but are you a Christian? Are you an atheist? What are you?
Oh, me personally, I'm an atheist, but it's not something that I'm particularly like militant about. I'm a scientist and I care about science.
What is your field in science?
I'm a neuroscientist.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
So actually, Otangelo, what do you think about this Job 38:14 here, where it talks about the earth takes the shape of clay under a seal, and then its features stand out like those under a garment, which would mean that there's an edge, just like Nathan said.
Yeah, I think that I can always say we have to take that in a figurative sense.
Oh, now, really?
Yeah.
So you don't take that literally?
No, I am saying that it is well possible to take it as in a figurative way. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be literal.
Well, Nathan, what do you think about that then?
If these highlighted passages here are figurative, then is God only figuratively going to shake the wicked out of the earth, or is he? And so the wicked will remain, but figuratively, it's gone.
Right, the Garden of Eden. Maybe that's a figurative interpretation.
And that's kind of, I think, really the important thing about the flat Earth is Otangelo, is that if we discredit the what is said in Genesis and take away the authenticity of Genesis, that is where naturalists are able to kind of work their way in and say, if this part isn't accurate and it's on the first page, how can any of the rest of it be accurate? Which is, I think, a fair claim.
I mean, I debate atheists for literally for decades. Okay, and the normal way of approach of atheists is to try to poke holes in Genesis, in the Bible, try to demonstrate the problems, and then think, my case is done. I've demonstrated that the Bible is not trustworthy. Therefore, let's discard it, and I am warranted to hold the naturalistic.
That's
atheistic.
your argument, though, Otangelo.
No, it's not an argument that I am making. I am just pointing out that this is the normal approach which I observe my opponents usually taking. Okay.
Right. But you're
Now,
making that argument here. You're saying that this is figurative. It's not literal. We're not meant to believe that this is actually true.
yeah,
you would
I
be
am
taking a
saying,
similar position as
I am
atheists.
saying that the Bible has to be interpreted. There are things which I take literally because I think it makes more sense to take them more literally, and
Yeah.
other parts which I think make more sense to be taken in a figurative way. But that is from verse to verse or from chapter to chapter. I think you cannot simply globally say everything is figurative or everything is literal or something like that. So the Bible needs to be interpreted.
Oh, so how do you make that choice of what is literal and what is figurative then?
It is a pragmatic approach. I mean,
what does that mean? What does it mean to be pragmatic?
It means that you have to analyze and think about each case. You cannot just establish one method and then based on that method analyze everything. I think you have to read the Bible and then every sentence or claim, analyze it individually and then compare it, maybe make comparative analysis. What do other verses say in regards of the same topic, and then eventually come to a conclusion.
So,
but I don't say
you,
that I understand everything or that I agree actually with everything in the Bible. There are things which I, even as a young earth creationist, admit there are problems. And some people even say to me, you shouldn't actually confess yourself as a young earth creationist, but rather as an agnostic, because you admit that there are things which are hard to be explained, like the starlight problem or other things which I have studied.
Morally, like slavery is one too as well.
Well, that would be another topic which wouldn't have anything to do with the science itself, right?
Yeah.
But
so how did
biblical literalism? Like
how did the in Genesis it does say that the earth was made before the sun, right?
Yeah, this is.
Are you geocentrist?
No, I'm not.
So how did the earth orbit around nothing for a few days?
Yeah, that is one of the problems, and I don't have necessarily a compelling explanation.
Do you think that was figurative?
To be honest with you, I have actually never really spent time to investigate this issue. I personally just think that it is possible that there was another light source rather than the sun, maybe even God himself, and it was just for a day because the plants, they were created on day 5, the day afterward. So actually a day prior, so they could actually survive for one day without light.
So if your model, right, because you believe that in heliocentrism, I believe, right? You believe the earth rotates around the sun.
Yes.
So if earth was created, and you're saying for those first few days it was rotating around God, and so was God at the place of where the sun was in your model? Because like the Bible doesn't say anything like that.
I don't have a model and I don't have an explanation, so I really don't know.
That doesn't sound very scientific, though.
No, it's not scientific.
Oh, okay.
Can I ask you, Otangelo, when Jesus returns, and will all eyes see him?
I don't know. The Bible says so, but I don't know how that would work because it's a sphere. So if he comes from one side, how do people from the other side see him? So I really don't know.
That would be impossible. Right.
Yeah.
And there's other passages in the Bible where like the throne was above the earth and it could see all the ends of the earth, the four corners of the earth, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you, I grant you all these problems. Okay. Does that lead you to naturalism to be the best explanation for our existence?
No, that's
If
not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether the Bible is literally true. And um I think that Nathan, he's taking the position that you have to accept that there is a flat earth if you believe that these passages are indeed true. And there's many, many points in the Bible that clearly lay out the fact that the earth is flat.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Well, Otangelo, I do want to say this to you sincerely. So, um, I want to let you know that there have been many, many, many testimonies of people who were very deep into atheism, and they, once realizing about the cosmology that is described in the Bible, they turned to Christ. They turned to the Bible. They started reading their Bible. It's brought many, many people to the scriptures and renewed their faith. People who even are Christian, but then they realize the shape of the earth, it becomes, even though it's just a physical change, and physical is not spiritual. People, when your creator is just a couple miles above your head, or however many 1,000 miles up above your head, and much closer, and we're in a place made specially for us, it changes kind of the closeness of it enhances the relationship that we are allowed to have with our creator. And so I just want to say that is something that many people have experienced, people on the whole spectrum of scale, being believers in the faith, and knowing God, or being complete naturalistic atheists, have come to find that the creator is really close. And I'd be happy to talk with you about, like, because I know there are young earth creationists who have defended and admirably tried to defend the Bible with the using heliocentrism, and making it try to work with a young universe, like using the starlight thing with light already on its way to the earth and things like that. But those things are not needed when it comes to the earth being planar, and everything being close, because it would be described how like the ancient Hebrews described what cosmology was. They had it in an enclosed system, a level planar field. And that I think is something that the world already thinks that we are foolish in terms of denying science. So if we can more validate scripture, it's not like we're already under a new label. It's not like we're an extra level of science denier. It's the title that gets ascribed to us. And so I just wanted to like pictures of the earth. NASA has said that they're CGI. They wrap flat strips of data from high altitude planes around a balloon or around a ball. They have to stitch things together, paint, use Photoshop. It's Photoshopped because it has to be. Is Robert Simmons, a NASA employee artist who made the blue marble that was on the first iPhones? He says it had to be Photoshopped. That NASA has admitted to faking these things. When Flat Earth started taking off in 2015, the first image that they released of the globe in 43 years, you can like look at the article yourself. First picture of Earth in 43 years. If you take that picture of the Earth and turn it upside down, you can actually see the word sex written in the cloud, SEX. And that, if you go into NASA's backstory about how they were Operation Paperclip, Nazis brought over to start the rocket program. They had a person named Jack Parsons who had Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Jack Parsons Laboratory. He was into the occult. He studied under Aleister Crowley, who called himself the Beast 666, the most wicked person ever. He studied under Thelema, sex magic. So there is this, and now you get this NASA image that has sex written backwards, which is something witches do and people that practice occult things. It's a spiritual tie-in, but you can look into all of what I just said there, and it's all there. Sex is like, Chris, would you want to pull up that type in first image of the Earth in 43 years, and you'll be able to see that sex is in the clouds, written.
This?
Yep. Yeah. Go there. So in the bottom left corner, you can kind of see that. Yep.
The X?
That's the X. And then right to the right of that is the backwards E and then the S. And so that is, that's kind of where like the damage control started, because flat earth started getting really big. I think someone told me in 2019 it was a more popular search term than Donald Trump, which is incredible. It was like the #1 thing. And you can look at fake news and flat earth Google search terms, and they're almost correlative. Like flat earth got really big, and then flat earth took off, or fake news took off right behind it. YouTube had to start censoring anything using flat earth. Just us talking about this, Chris is probably going to get a text box on the flat earth under his video.
I'm sure we will. Yeah.
And so this is why they had to create the censorship, is because this is something that no one feels motion. And Einstein was so promoted because relativity got rid of, the earth is moving, but we just can't feel it because it's relative. He said we can't do anything to measure motion to the earth. And that has to be, I mean, both models claim you don't feel the earth move. And so I think that is something that that Occam's razor would say the first implication is that the earth doesn't move. Michelson Morley would have detected the earth moving, but it wasn't. And there's a very prominent anti-flat earther who I'm not going to say his name, but like there's a 4 lights experiment picture that I show people. It's 4 lights. Let me see if I can.
Are you continuing to monologue? Because I thought this would be a conversation. And
sorry. Feel free. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the point which I was just want to make is that I don't think this is sound epistemology to think that, well, because it doesn't seem to me rational to believe what the Bible says in regards of the shape of the earth, then therefore the Bible isn't true and naturalism or atheism is true. I think this is not a good approach. And I always say to atheists, if you want to have a sound conclusion, then you need to have a sound way to investigate origins. And that includes that you actually also investigate your proposition that no God or no creator is necessary to explain our existence. And I make the standard question to atheists: how do you explain our existence without a creator? And then I usually get, well, we don't know yet. I am not sure. I'm an agnostic. We are working on it. But God definitely is not the answer. Right. So
yes. And naturalism falls apart with observation. Yeah, it has to be, you reach the claim of naturalism is reached by being bridged with inference to bridge the gap, because we have never seen non-life become alive. So that would require faith. Until shown, that would require faith. And so I think that I absolutely agree, having to investigate origin. And that's part of, I really believe evolution is just as much a belief system as creation, 100%.
Absolutely. Yes, I have actually written a book. You can find it on Amazon.